Hello, welcome to the showcase where great stories come from awesome entertainers, interesting stories behind the scenes, fun and frolics, as well as some awesome entertainer videos. Please watch, click the thumbs up and subscribe for more great content. We can't do that without you. Our next guest comes from Nottingham in the United Kingdom. First guest from Nottingham, and I won't tell you who he impersonates because you can tell. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Dee.
Hi, Sean.
Hiya, Scott. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, and thank you for coming on the showcase. So it's a real pleasure. Yes, it is. Scott, do you want to tell us and tell the viewers who you are, what you do?
I am an Englebert Humperdinck tribute, the King of Romance.
Yeah. Please release me, let
That's
me
the
go.
One, yeah. That's the big one. That's the huge number one that prevented the Beatles from getting to their 13th number one.
Didn't know that. Is that a fact?
Yeah, it was huge. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. Yeah, huge. 1967.
Well, there's something for the viewers I bet you all didn't know. So you go. Let's go back from, let's say, your school days. What did you do? Was you always a Engelbert fan, or was you?
Yeah. I've always liked Engelbert. I remember the song. I was only 4 years old at the time it came out in '67, and I just remember it. I loved his voice. So yeah, I've always been a fan of Engelbert.
Well, when I was young at home, my mum and dad always had Engelbert on. You know, I think I know the words off by heart, and I've never done it on stage.
Yeah, great. That's good.
So you kind of like, was you a singer in the clubs, or did you start straight away? Oh,
I started off as a drummer in a band, and we were doing the pubs and clubs 45 years ago. Can you believe? And then I progressed to a solo performer in 1992. And did the rounds. I did the pubs, I did the clubs, the holiday parks, the golf courses, the hotels. And then in 2005, I decided to pursue work as a tribute. And Engelbert.
Are there any more Engelbert tributes around or not?
There are a few, yeah, there are a handful. Certainly in America and Canada, there are 2 or 3.
Right.
In the UK, I don't really know, to be honest. I'm never approached by anybody, or nobody ever tells me that there is another Engelbert one. The great thing that I've got, the uniqueness that I have, is that I performed for Engelbert in Las Vegas in 2011 at the Paris Hotel and got his endorsement. And ever since, we've been friends. He's a really, really supportive, kind gentleman. He loves my humpy, and that's quoting the man. Yeah.
How did that come about? It's not just something
unbelievable.
That happened.
It was unbelievable. I connected to his oldest son, Jason Dorsey, on Facebook, and we were chatting for over a year. And that was in 2010, 2011. And then his younger son, Scott Dorsey, was managing him at the time. He spotted the connection that I had with Jason. And then out of the blue, he messaged me to say, I might have a gig for you this year. What are you doing in July? And that was in 2011. And lo and behold, they flew us over. Michelle, my wife, and I, they flew us over to Vegas. We were his guests in the Paris Hotel for 3 days and nights. And I sang for him. He was given the star on the Walk of Fame on the 20th of July. And I opened the celebration party in the Paris Hotel for him. So, yeah, incredible.
Was you nervous?
Was I nervous? Yeah. Engelbert was there with all his family, with all his guests, and all his band, because the next day, he began a 4-night run in the Paris Hotel Theatre. I did the Wednesday night presentation of his star on the Walk of Fame. He then had the 4-night run Thursday to Sunday in the Paris Theatre, which is why we stayed as his guests and saw the shows and, hung about with the hump. And it was fantastic. They treated us like family. But yes, Sean, I was nervous, but very excited. Very excited.
I mean, not many tributes get to do that. It's just beyond belief, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fairly unique. I know 1 or 2 other tributes have met and have sung with their mentor.
Yeah, I've just done a guy, Mike. He does Robbie Williams, and Robbie Williams endorses him as well. And
Yeah, yeah.
he does look like him, and he's got up and sang with him as well. So I mean, these tributes, it's nice stuff, isn't it?
It's great. And what I didn't realise when I put the show together, I'm exactly the same height as Engelbert. Exactly
Never.
the same height. 6'1.5". And I also have the green eyes that Engelbert has.
Yeah,
So there are some coincidences there.
that's
And when I've used the
unbelievable.
scaffolding to get all the makeup on and the hair, I'm told there is a resemblance.
That's awesome. It really is, Scott. So, are you kind of like working in the pubs and clubs doing the tribute, or are you doing special stuff? What are you doing?
I still do the occasional club
Yeah.
with my other show, which is 50s, 60s, 70s. The Engelbert tribute has opened huge doors for me.
Yes, I bet.
Theatres, themed events, corporate work, cruises. It's incredible the door that it has opened. So, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still do the odd private event that may be in a hotel or a club. But the actual tribute is on the top rung of the ladder. I'm very, very fortunate now. 45 years in the business, and I've actually now reached the cream. So it's wonderful.
Well, there's only one way to go up.
I hope so, yeah.
It's amazing, Scott, how many young people still understand and know Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah. The great thing was in 2012, when he represented us for the Eurovision, I spent some time with him. I even went on the One Show with him on BBC. And I also was interviewed on BBC Breakfast on the day of Eurovision. And Engelbert himself knew that he wasn't going to go anywhere in the competition for various reasons. But the great thing was, he said at the time, people know that I'm still alive. He said, and even the young ones can spell my name and have heard of me now, Because Engelbert is such a big name. If you play Scrabble, he's worth 3,000 points. So, yeah.
What about Humperdinck?
Oh, yeah, that's just the Engelbert, yeah.
My brother couldn't pronounce his name. He always used to say Humperdinckle.
I've been called Uncle Bert before, and things like that. Engelbert has a lot of fun with the name because Dean Martin befriended him and took him over to America. And he used to call him Humpy. He said, Humperdinck's too big a name. So he called him Humpy. So Engelbert still has a lot of fun with that.
Wow.
So do I. It's a fun name. It's a great name. And Engelbert, it's not all about singing romantic ballads. He's a great showman. So both he and I put a lot of the fun and the charisma into the show to capture the essence of Engelbert. So it's a great fun show.
How old is he now?
He's 89 in May.
My God.
2nd of May, yeah. So next year we have some big plans when he'll be 90. We're already working on Engelbert 90 for theatres and corporate with my band. I have a wonderful 9-piece band, the D-Tones. So, yeah, We're getting ready for a big, big year next year, Engelbert at 90. And he's still performing. He's still touring the world. He still has the voice, the charisma, the twinkle in his eye. He's incredible. I once asked him, what do you have for breakfast to give you the energy? And he said, I have my oats. I like my oats.
You can't beat your oats in the morning.
Yeah, so, we had a good laugh about that. Yeah.
My God, that's awesome. So,
yeah,
how many albums does Engelbert have?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know the exact number. What I do know is that overall they've sold over 150 million worldwide. Wow. So it's an incredible amount. But Release Me went ballistic after he performed on the Sunday night at the Palladium. It was selling in those days in 67. It was selling between 80 and 100,000 copies a day, which is what took it to number one. Incredible.
It is incredible. It's such a great song even now. It just encapsulates the moment. It's just awesome. So Engelbert sings a lot of covers as well, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He describes himself as a contemporary singer. I mean, at the time, back in the 60s, he was singing contemporary songs. And he still likes to bring today's contemporary into his show. So, he'll do all sorts of songs by, people like George Ezra and Rod Stewart and George Michael and people like that. Yeah. He likes to keep, obviously he brings back the classics that people want to hear. But he very much likes to put his own style on contemporary songs. Yeah.
Is he American?
No. He's English.
Get on.
Yeah, his family are from Leicester. He was born in India. His dad was stationed in the army in India. and came back to Leicester when Eng was about 10. So he grew up in Leicester. He regards himself as a Leicester boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's a bit of a similar story to Freddie Mercury, isn't it? Because he was kind of Indian.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And Cliff was born in India and then came back and grew up in the UK.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of education about music, haven't you?
I've certainly done my homework regarding Engelbert.
Yeah, you have to do, being a tribute. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what about the outfits then? Where do you get the outfits from?
I've gone to all sorts of places. Believe it or not, a lot of them are off the shelf. But obviously, I've got to go for classic, stylish looks. And I call the show the Engelbert Years because it goes through the eras. I mean, predominantly is known for the sideburns, but I can vary the look. But the most important thing is, Sean, that I have to look immaculate because Engelbert is always immaculate. So I have a range of about 10 suits so that I always look the business.
He always wears a dicky bow, doesn't he? Is that?
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah. But again, he's adapted the look. So the classic look is the tuxedo and dicky bow and the big sideburns. That's what people tend to remember him for. Yeah.
It's got a bit, looks a bit like Elvis Presley because where you've got your Scott Dee E82, you've got that look of Elvis Presley there as well.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, Engelbert created the big sideburns. And Elvis, when he got to know Engelbert, they became great friends. Okay. He then, having met Engelbert, said, I can use those. And he grew his bigger. So Elvis had sideburns, but Engelbert had the huge mutton choppers. And then as Elvis got to know Engelbert, Elvis grew his to the bigger Engelbert sideburns. And that's the story that Engelbert tells, and I believe it.
Oh, God. Elvis nicked his sideburns.
His bigger sideburns, the bigger ones, yeah. The Humperdinckers, yeah.
And the real hair, they're not stuck on then?
His or mine?
His, I mean, I can see you haven't got yours.
Yeah, I've not got mine on at the moment because I've been doing some shows where they wanted, believe it or not, some of his big fans look for a specific era. I've even had requests to do it with the beard. He had a beard in the early 90s. Oh. So, and I've just done a couple of shows where both private birthday parties where the ladies wanted the moustache look without the sideburns. So the sideburns come off. But I do have stick-on ones as well. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah. You've gone a bit cloudy. What's happened?
I've noticed that. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. Let's have a look.
You may be getting a bit steamed up talking to me, Scott.
Oh, I say, good heavens. Excuse me one moment.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what it's doing, Sean.
Strange.
Maybe it'll stay.
Yeah. Have you got?
It's all in the atmospherics, you know.
Have you got the kettle on?
No.
That's strange. I've never seen that before.
Until now.
Well, there's always a first for everything. So, Scott, what's the future for Scott Dee then and EH2?
Well, just to keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, the show has taken me to quite a few incredible places. I've performed in India, Canada, America. I'm regularly in America. Spain, I've done Mediterranean cruises. Norway, I did a huge Elvis Festival weekender in Molde in Norway. I'm due to go back to India, to Goa and Bangalore, Mumbai, places like that. I'm in talks with a promoter for Dubai. So, yeah, it's his profile worldwide is huge. I've also got people in Australia hoping to get me over there. So onwards and upwards. It's amazing.
A well-travelled man.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you're collecting your air miles.
Well, hair miles or air miles. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So what's the highlight must be meeting Engelbert then?
It certainly is. I mean, if you'd have said to me, not only are you going to meet him, but perform for him in Las Vegas, how could I have ever perceived that? You know, it was incredible. And for weeks and weeks and weeks afterwards, I was still on cloud nine. It was like a dream. It was incredible. Couldn't believe it. Oh. But it happened, you know. And he actually said to me, thank you, buddy. You do a great humping. So I'm able to use that as his endorsement.
That is absolutely fantastic, that.
Yeah. By the way, Sean, his son Jason, who I connected to first, he gave me the tag. EH2.
Oh,
So, and I said to him, oh, I like that. May I use it? He said, yeah, of course. So ever since, I use EH2 as part of my branding. And that's come from Engelbert's son. So there you go. Now you
and
know.
do you still keep in touch then, or over?
I do. I don't have a direct contact with Engelbert,
Yeah.
but I'm close friends with a close friend of his who can connect me. And I still chat regularly to Jason and Louise's daughter. I've met Louise a few times, and Scott, who used to be his manager. They still keep an eye on what I'm doing, and we've got a nice friendship. I know some of his family here in Leicester. They've been to my shows. I've met his sister Patty. I know two of his nieces, and you know, there's a nice connection. There's a nice friendship within
That's
the Dorsey
awesome.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you managed, Scott, or do you self-manage?
I'm self-managed. So, yeah, you know, in my defense, I was left, you know, to do my own thing.
So how can people book you then, Scott? Do you have a website?
There is a website connection. If you go into www.scottdmusic, that's the website. But the majority of the enquiries and the work that I get is through Facebook.
Is it really?
Yeah. Facebook is incredible for me, yeah. So just say, hi, Scott Dee, and there I am on Facebook. Yeah.
That's awesome. That. And have you brought any records out yourself? Have you ever thought about?
I've done various tribute CDs, and I do have one or two songs. I became very fortunate in 2015. I became a friend of Les Reed, the composer, who wrote a lot of Engelbert and Tom Jones hits, because I did a CD for his 80th birthday, which is 10 years ago. And with the friendship, I got Les's personal phone number, and we used to chat on the phone. He started to send me some of his lesser-known songs for me to put my version of. So, yeah, I've done a few Les Reed songs that you can see on Facebook. So, yeah, and I've got my one of my best pals, Jim Underhill, did all the arranging and everything for me and the instrumentation at his studio. So there's a big thanks to Jim Underhill there.
That's fantastic. So the future's bright for Scott Dee, yeah?
I hope so, yeah. I'm ever the optimist, Sean. You know, I get out of bed in the morning, whether or not the sun's shining. If it's not shining, I try and make it shine. Yeah, you have to do. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep going. It's incredible, the people that I've met, the friendships that I've made, and the places that it takes us. Celebrating Engelbert, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, you'll if you ever get to do Dubai, you'll love it. I did 3.5 years in the hotels in Dubai, and
Wow.
it's certainly a place that opens your eyes. You know.
Yeah, I'm hoping also to get over to Thailand, because Engelbert has a huge following over there.
You said about that, and I don't see the connection. Explain, Scott.
Well, he's performing all over the world.
Yeah.
And I know through the close friend connection that I have, one of his best friends has become a good friend of mine, and he'll tell me the feedback and give me info on what shows are selling. I mean, he's still selling out concerts all over the world.
Wow.
And places like the Philippines and Thailand apparently still have huge Engelbert fan followings over there. So I'm hoping that I'll eventually, I'm almost on the verge of having confirmation for Dubai.
Yes.
But I'd also like to go, you know, further afield to Thailand, etc. And I've also got some simmering plans for Australia. So, you know, I'm just going to keep flying the flag. I'd love
to come to your concert if you come to Thailand, Scott. We'd have to meet up.
Well, if you know any bookers or promoters there, Sean, please put in a word for me, and I'll buy you a pint. How's that?
Well, Scott, you know, because of the connections that I've got, I'm trying to get in. Rich people. There's a lot out here with a lot of money.
Exactly.
But they don't understand the concept of tribute shows. There's been no tribute shows out here. So it's a shame, because, you know, they say, well, why don't we have the real thing? But, you know, the next best thing, I can't kind of like make them understand. I've shown them these, I've shown them some great tributes, and they say, well, we can get the real thing. It's a funny life out here, you know, Scott. But who knows? Who knows what's around the corner? You don't.
You never know.
Well, Scott, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. I hope the viewers really enjoy this video because they're talking to the man that's sang with Engelbert Humperdinck, which is a real unbelievable feat. So when it goes on YouTube, I'd like you to watch it, and I'd also like you to comment on Scott's YouTube, please. So watch all the way through because he's a real great guy. Watch it all the way through. Leave him a message, and let's get him up in the rankings on YouTube. Okay.
And let's get me to Thailand as well. Yeah.
Let's get
Thank you, Sean.
All the best, Scott. Take care.
And to you. Thank you.